Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to some more TSW Tuesday. We're going to be doing some shunting here in New York today. It's something a little bit different, just waiting for my webpage to refresh and get the chat loaded up. Let's switch to live chat. Let's see who we got in here tonight. Well, there's loads of messages already. We've got Thea Rex, Corey, Christopher, Andrew, Gravity, Chris. We've got Scott, Katie. How is everyone doing tonight? Jeremy's here as well. Good to see you, Jeremy. Right, let's jump in and we're going to run some services. And as I say, we're going to be doing some shunting today. Something a little bit different. Let's see. What do we want for weather conditions? Do we want spring, summer, autumn, or winter? I'll let you guys choose. Got requests for winter, which is looking like it might well be the choice to go for. Yeah, winter definitely seems to be the popular choice, doesn't it? So, all right, we'll go with winter. Let's have just a little bit of snow, not too much. Just ease that off a little bit. Okay, there we go. So, shunting. Let's see. There's loads of ones that we could do here. Some of these are literally just, short delivery runs, like this one. But this one here, prepare the empties. We have to break a train down. I think is it that one or no? This one here, cutting cars. Switch cars from a manifest train onto different tracks. So we have a full train made up of all sorts of different types of freight, and we have to break it all down into constituent parts. So something a little bit different, something we haven't really done before. I thought that might be quite good fun. I've been asked, do I have Discord? I have a Discord channel, or a Discord profile, but I don't really use Discord very often, and I don't have a server. I'm very rarely ever on Discord, so it's not something I'm looking to branch out into yet. Maybe in the future. Brian's popped in the chat as well. How are you doing, Brian? And William, good to see you. Do I have Inter? I have no idea what that is, so that should answer your question. Right. Visibility is pretty bad. Let's take a look outside. Oh, yeah, it's really bad, isn't it? Okay, so we need to head our way over to that point just there. Let's jump in, make sure everything's set up properly. Everything's switched on, so we're going to do this externally just because it's going to be much easier for us to keep an eye on what's going. There's our train that we have to break down into all its different parts. So you can see we have a whole load of different types of wagons all the way down there, and that all needs to be broken down into its various different bits and bobs. So let's make sure we have our reverser and forward, throttle on. Oh, actually, throttle off, brake on, We want to be reverser in reverse. There we go. Going the wrong way. So there's going to be lots and lots of little sort of back and forth runs here, changing direction and switching tracks as we hook up to the train and then uncouple, you know, 1 or 2 cars at a time. Oh, Instagram. Oh, no. No, I don't have Instagram. I don't take enough interesting photos. Let's just get a little bit more throttle up. These trains accelerate really fast. Check my brakes are all off. Why is my throttle not working? There we go. We should probably get some lights on as well. We'll do that when we park up at our point just here. Just do that now. Let's see. So we want forward bright. There we go. Alright, so let's change the reverser to forward. So this is our train. Look how many cars are on this train. It's this one on this blue line here. That's a lot of cars that need to be broken down into various different parts. It's a very, very long train, and we're going to have to do all the switching on the tracks manually as well. So that one's okay for us there, but here we need to switch that one. So let's turn around. Head back down the line. Going a little bit too fast, we'll just slow down again. There we go. DQ's hit. It's a very cold and snowy New York. Not really seasonal weather, is it? Perhaps we should have gone with spring to match the current kind of weather climate. Oh. Whoops. Okay, so I wasn't paying attention. I glanced at the chat. I've got to remember to pay attention to that. But we need to manually uncouple all of these cars as well. So that's the unlock on the coupler there. Change the reverser to reverse. Actually, I just uncoupled the wrong car. I uncoupled on the train, and I should have uncoupled at the other end of the car. That's my fault. So, reverser back to forward. That's going to be a lot of this back and forthing. There we go, couple back up again. This one here, this is what we need to uncouple. There we go. So now we can go to reverse. And away we go. So we need to put this on siding number 7. First thing we've got to do is get onto this sort of main sort of siding here, which feeds all of these offshoots. So we'll clear ourselves from the points. I've got some brake on somewhere, I think. Oh, the emergency brake is still switched on, that's why. Right, okay, I'm going to have to go into the cab here. Find the emergency brake. That's still still active. Where's the emergency brake? Where is the emergency brake? It's so long since I've spent a long period of time in here that I'm not honestly all that sure. That's my ditch lights. Yeah, I definitely want those on. Step lights. Yeah, we'll turn those on. Gauge lights. Yes. Spotter reverse. Spotter forward. My headlights. Heater. Oh yeah, definitely want the heater on. It's quite cold, so we'll get the heater on. Throttle, reverser. Where's the emergency brake? Brake indicator. No, those are not what I want. See my brake pressure just going nuts here, look. Put all of my brakes into full service that go up that way, and hopefully that will sort the brake pressure out a little bit. Right, so if I put a little bit of throttle on now, there we go, and if I shut that off, yeah, there we go, that's better, that's sorted it. We were screeching to an immediate stop every time I turned the throttle off. We've solved that issue now. So let's go back to our front cam and apply the brakes. While that's doing that, let's change our points here, and now we have to go back down the line, and this is the siding that we need, so we need to switch that there, and we need to switch that there. There we go. We need to change to forward. It's going to be a lot of this, just back and forth as we break this train down into all sorts of little bits. Scott says it's a shame we don't have LLRR trains going by, as it's the same lines. Well, we will see an Amtrak train go by every now and again, but we won't see the Long Island Railroad. DQ says, who's the creepy guy over there? I guess he's talking about the guy inside the cabin. You mean that's not you, DQ? Mr. Watts has popped in the chat. How you doing? And Mr. Henderson. So here you can see just kind of a breakdown. Some of these cars are double stacked, as you can see. So we'll be able to do two at a time on these ones. Oh, we're on the wrong line. Just realised we are on the wrong track. That's not good. How did that happen? How did we end up on this one? How on earth did we end up on that track? Okay, I'm not quite sure how that happened. We need to get onto the right track. A little bit odd there. And these locos, because they're so powerful, they accelerate so fast. Even with just, notch 1 on the throttle, they just get up to speed so fast. You've got to be really careful that you can, just end up, going 20, 30 miles an hour without even realising. So we're seeing a little bit of a change in policy from Dovetail regarding Train Sim World at the moment. They seem to have stopped doing route packs, and they're now just pushing individual locos. We've just had a new individual loco released for the MSB pack, which is for the base game stuff. For the S-Bahn pack, which has also since been patched to work on MSB, and I think possibly Ruas Ignored as well. And they've also announced another new individual loco for the West Somerset Rail, and that's coming out soon. And that's the red BR class 55, I think. I say red, it's kind of a sort of a maroony crimson colour, isn't it? That's coming out soon for West Somerset Rail. And they've announced another one that's coming out for Ruas Ignored. And yet again, it's just an individual loco, no route pack. And once again, these locos, they cost, what, 12, 13 quid each? It's too much to pay just for a loco to being added to an existing pack. Especially... Oh, we're doing it again, look, we're going... We're still going onto the wrong line. We're going back to where the train is broken down. I thought I'd change that point. I must have changed the wrong one, and that's why we ended up on the wrong line in the first place. I thought I'd switched this line here. Obviously, I switched the wrong one. But yeah, we're seeing another, £12, £13 train on its own coming out. So that's 2 individual booster trains that we've now had for West Somerset, or it will be when the new one comes out. And those 2 trains on their own cost more than the actual West Somerset DLC, and that is wrong, in my opinion. That's very, very wrong. There's no reason why we should be paying that much for for individual trains to go onto a pre-existing route pack. Right, 3rd time's the charm. This time we should get where we're supposed to go. Did I hear about Train Simulator? If you buy all the DLC, it'll cost about £7 grand. It was the same with the previous version, Train Simulator 18. That was all the DLC on that was horrendously expensive if you totaled all of it together, because there was so much of it. And it looks like it's going to go very similar with this as well. Lots and lots of individual trains. Thing is, the sales on Train Simulator are usually stronger, than they are on console. When the ones on Steam, so they've got an Easter sale going on where everything is 60% off at the moment. We don't see 60% off sales. Or at least I haven't seen them on PS4. I've seen 40% off sales, but I've never seen 60. And it's currently 60% off on Steam for Train Sim World. Which, again, it's more expensive on console to start with for most games. I think this one's about the same in price, but once again, the console market is having to pay a little bit more by getting less favourable sales than the PC market, which is a little frustrating. Right, there we go. So now we can uncouple here. That's now I've got to wait for it to kick in. and register that that one's been dropped off. There we go. Now we can head back to our starting point, change the lines over, go back to our big long train, grab the next car or two, and stick them on their own siding as well. So we've got multiple sidings and multiple multiple car types, and they'll all end up on the ratings. So again, my brakes, they won't release this time. There we go. Jean-Luc's popped in the chat. How you doing, Jean-Luc? And Andy as well. Okay, so let's close this line off. There we go. As we trundle our way back down the line to our start point over here. Then when we get over it, we want this one, which is going to be this set of points just here. I need to switch this one. There we go. Now we've got access to our freight cars again. A little bit of throttle just because it starts to get a bit of an uphill gradient over here. There we go. Right, so reverse it into forward. Release the brakes. A little bit of forward throttle. Throttle off. I've got to be careful I don't ram these again like I did the first time. That was not the smartest of moves. I mean, it doesn't derail us, it doesn't damage the train, but you know, it doesn't look very good, does it, when we smash into these? There we go. Right. Change the reverser again. And how many are we uncoupling this time? 2. Let's try and get a screenshot without a logo in the way. Weather's just not clear enough for a good screenshot without having one of those pop-up emblems in the way. I might have to time it a bit better when we drop these off. So again, we want to get onto this main siding here, and when we clear the points we can then switch the tracks over. Change direction and drop them off on the right siding. Right. Change that. Now, which line do we want down here? This one. So we need to change those points. There we go. Change to forward. Brakes off, throttle on. And there we go. David Henderson says, surely nobody's buying locos at 12 to £15. I'm not. I'm waiting for them to come down in price. What's going on with our throttle again? Look, the speed's just coming off. We've got a brake on somewhere. Might have to put my brakes into... Yeah, the brakes are just still applying for some reason, and they shouldn't be. We'll have to do our brake pressure thing again when we get to our drop-off point. We should be coasting, and we're not. We're slowing down the second we take the throttle off. But no, I'm not going to buy the locos until they go on sale. I haven't actually seen one of the locos go on sale yet. I've only seen the route packs, so I'm waiting for them to go on sale. And even if I do end up buying one or two of them at full price, I'm waiting until I've completed the route pack before I then shell out on another locomotive for said route pack. Otherwise, you know, I've still got a ton of content to get through. I'm just adding more and more content to, or more and more routes to run on a content I haven't even finished yet, so this kind of seems a little bit pointless. Separate loco for an existing route pack should be either free or $2.99 at the most, in my view, says Mr. Watter. I think that's a little bit too cheap. I said I would like to see the locos about £5 to $7.50, about half the price of what they are at the moment. I think that would be a fair price. I'd also like to see route packs, ideally capped at about £15 each. But I don't think that's going to happen either. Right, so let's put the brakes into full service, let those charge themselves properly, do the coupler, change the reverser, actually that might be good enough for a thumbnail. Let's try that. Might be able to get away with that. So, also, that might make a decent thumbnail as well. Just trying to get the anchors. I'm going to have to crop these pictures to get rid of the overlays, but I want to try and get a nice detailed shot, so that might work. We'll see. Let's get a little bit of throttle on, get the brakes released, and hopefully this time we won't bleed speed. Yeah, there we go. We seem to be looking okay now. Callum says, hi Jim, I'm a new subscriber. Well, welcome to the channel, Callum. Hope you enjoy the content that you come across. I like to try and mix things up and run multiple different games. So at the moment we're running Farm Sim, Railway Empire, this on a Tuesday live stream, and City Skylines as well, including a Cities stream on Sundays. Railway Empire actually comes to a close. What episode are we up to? Up to 16, I think, at the moment of the current. Yeah, tomorrow is the last episode in the Patchwork playthrough. Oh, there goes an Amtrak in the background. You can just see the coaches whizzing through. Oh, I've got stuck under the I've got stuck under the terrain. I can't get back out. Alright, I need to change my camera. Let me just sort out the brakes first. There we go. There we go, back above ground. So reverser into reverse. Got to hit that checkbox. Andy says, do we know if we're getting a new pack yet? No new rail packs have been announced. So we're getting lots of new individual trains, but no individual rail packs. So there's those 2 cars we dropped off there. I don't think we're going to go back that far again, so that's fine. So we want to access our main train, which is there. Reverse into forwards. Spin around. We'll try and get a few different screenshots from different angles. We'll try and get some nice contrasting details in. There we go. Marcel's popped in the chat. How you doing, Marcel? Good to see you. Looks like we're loading up to a fuel tanker this time. Stopped just a touch short. There we go. Alright, so reverser to reverse. Got to be the other side to decouple. There we go. Throttle on. Let's see which siding we've got to plonk this one onto. Oh. Down here. So that needs to be changed. Just check the one in front of it. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So we'll just wait to clear these points here. In fact, we could probably do this. Which one is it? I think it's that switch there. No, it's not. Let's just do it here. This is going to be the easiest way to make sure I get the right one switched. Otherwise we're going to end up in the same situation as earlier, where we ended up on the wrong one completely. There we go. Lever switched. Just come to a stop. We should have gone clear, really, shouldn't we? It's a little bit too foggy. Never mind. It's too late now. E-Trax is in the chat. How you doing, E-Trax? Brian says it would be good if we got mods the same as Farm Sim. I don't really think this game needs mods. It just needs a good supply of locos, but the ones that we're being offered at the moment are too expensive. They need to come down in price. Checking I'm on the right line. Yes, you can see we're on the blue line. There's our stop point. If anyone has yet to see it, if you go onto my Facebook page, I posted a link to an article about some details for Mud Runner 2. It was a sort of a hands-off review of the test footage that was being shown at What's Next event earlier in April. Focus Home every year they do a What's Next event. They usually do it in February, but for this year they put it to April. And obviously the guys from Mud Runner were there showing off Mud Runner 2. And from the sound of it, it looks like it's going to be a huge step forward, which sounds really, really good. They're currently working on a snow level, so I'm really looking forward to that. There's going to be branded equipment in the game as well, so Cat is going to be making an appearance in the main game. According to this article, Cat will be a main branded choice of equipment. There's going to be more equipment to choose from. There's going to be some customization options in there as well. Even the potential for a rescue vehicle if you get stuck. They've massively worked on improving the ground response and terrain deformation, especially like the mud and water effects. They've looked at really improving those. The maps are going to be bigger. I think each map is going to be around 4 times larger than the current maps that we've had, which means more of a variety of terrain on the map. It's not going to be just like, you go onto a map and it's just all one type of terrain, so it's all just heavy mud and then maybe a river to separate more heavy mud. It sounds like you'll have some real variation in conditions across different parts of a map, and more maps as well. So I think they said total land area of the game is going to be 25 times the size of the total land area of the original Mud Runner, which is a huge improvement if that's the case. So yeah, I'm really waiting for some more details for that to come out in the future. That sounds like it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. Speaking of Mud Runner, on the 30th of April there will be a new DLC as well, the Old Timers Pack, and I will of course be sticking that up on the channel when it comes out. Might live stream that, might do it as a small 2 or 3 part video series, I'm not sure yet. But that will be a free add-on, so no need to pay for that one. And will link in quite nicely, by all accounts, with the American Wilds pack, so it'll have some American-style trucks to run. A couple of new trucks being added in, and some of the attachments will be compatible from the American Wilds expansion with the stuff in the DLC. So yeah, that looks like it could be a lot of fun, and that comes out pretty soon, just about a week away. So we have that to come soon as well, and I'll be trying to run that with manual gears as well. I've got my my wheel getting ready to be set up again, and I've got the shifter for my G29 now as well, so I will be running a manual gearbox on that one. That should be fun, that should be interesting. Brian says, I wonder if they're going to improve vehicle interiors. I would imagine so. If they're going to have licensed vehicles, then I would imagine they'll have to improve the interiors. Otherwise there might be some dirty looks from the manufacturers. Alright, looks like we can run 2 cars here. Let's stand by to decouple these ones. There we go. Change reverse of direction again. Release the brakes, apply the throttle. And where are these going? Down here. Okay, so switch the points. Check the approach points as well. Make sure we're not going to get diverted. Nope, we're good. Mr. Water says, I need to get back to playing the first Mud Runner. Me too. I haven't played it at all on my new profile, so I have got the entire game to platinum again, which will be fun. I enjoyed it immensely the first time around, and a couple of the trophies were a bit tricky, but I did get the platinum, so I'll be getting that again at some point on my new profile. And of course, this time I can do it with a gearbox as well, with a manual gearbox. So that'll be an extra challenge, an extra dimension to my second playthrough of the game. Am I clear? Yes. There we go. So we'll switch those. Reverse it to forwards. Release the brakes, apply some throttle. Andy says, is it a game worth getting? If you're talking about Mud Runner, then yes, I would say so. I mean, I don't know if you can actually, at least digitally, I don't know if you can just buy Mud Runner on its own anymore. You might be able to. If you have a copy, or you pick up a second-hand disc copy, then it's just Spin Tyre's Mud Runner. And then there is a separate DLC which came out, which was the American Wilds expansion, which is the only paid DLC. There are already 3 free DLCs, and then the paid one, which was £8, so very cheap. Which added 2 new maps and some new vehicles. I think 9 new vehicles it was, plus the attachments to those new vehicles. That was actually a lot of fun, that expansion. Both Grizzly Creek and Mount Logmore were the maps. They're both available to view on the channel if you want to take a look at those. 2 little 3 and 4 video playlists. But that was the only paid DLC. The other, DLCs that were there were free expansions where you got a map and 2 vehicles, maybe 3 vehicles depending on the update. And there were 3 of those, I believe, and there's a 4th one coming out next week. So it's well supported content-wise in terms of expansions, and you only have to pay for one of them, which is really nice. But you can also buy it now as a digital version, and I would imagine on disc as well, as American Wilds, the complete edition. So you pay for the game and it comes bundled with the American Wilds expansion, so you can buy it as a bundle. And it pops up on sale as well every now and again. I mean, it's been on, I think it was on sale over Easter, in the build-up to Easter, the spring sale. It might be on sale now, or it might have just come off sale. It's been on sale recently, I know that much. And it does pop up on sale on the store every now and again. It's definitely a game that's worth getting, I think, and even more so if you can get it on sale. Got to wait. There we go. Got to head back down the line again. And if it says the DLC is $35 on the store, then that's not just the DLC, that's the game as well. The DLC was only £8 / $10, depending on whether you're UK or US. So if it's 35 quid, then that's the game with the American Wilds expansion. They're both bundled together. It's basically Mud Runner, the American Wilds edition. So it's base game with that expansion. It's like a Game of the Year edition, essentially, where it's a game bundled with the DLC. Andy says, just bought Spider-Man and The Division. Not a big fan of The Division. I thought it was okay. I played the beta when it came out and just wasn't all that impressed with it. Loved Spider-Man though. Platinumed that immensely quickly because I just couldn't stop playing it. It was such a fun game. I got the digital deluxe version with the City That Never Sleeps bundled in with it, and that's a great DLC as well. The City That Never Sleeps has a lot of extra content, so yeah, I loved that game. I must go back at some point and get the rest of the DLC trophies and do my New Game Plus playthrough on that as well. Right, so we need to switch back onto the cars. There we go. There goes another Amtrak whizzing through. Well, I say whizzing, trundling through. It's hardly whizzing, is it? Yeah, Andy, I remember you being in the UK. We actually, I think I asked you that last week, and I remembered as soon as I mentioned it, I remembered that you'd said you were in the UK. Any chance of a Monday Mudrunner live stream? I'm not going to say no, but I'm not necessarily saying yes either. I don't know. I have to live stream with my phone, and the more live streams I do, the less time I have for being able to record stuff for the channel. So never say never, but probably not. I don't know yet. I'll think about it. I'll certainly give it some consideration. Right, there we go. Uncoupled. Reverse to reverse. That could be a great screenshot there. Still waiting for it to... I better couple that back up again, actually, I think I uncoupled that a bit too soon. Yes, I did. Wait for a moment. Right, there we go. Okay, so we need to come off this line again. Is my reverser in the right direction? No. It was, and then I took it out the right the right direction. There we go. Mr. Water says, I need to get back to Spider-Man as well. I'm bogged down with games, and Days Gone is out on Friday. Oh, I know about Days Gone, trust me. I'm counting down until I can actually download that. I should be able to preload that tomorrow. And then as soon as it hits midnight on Friday, I'll be able to start playing that. Don't forget, I will be sticking that up on the channel, or at least the first half a dozen episodes or so will go up on the channel. And if there's no interest, then I'll stop, and I'll just play it in my own time. But I will make it available to start with on the channel, and then I'll leave it up to you guys as to whether or not you want to see more of it. Right. So we need to be on this line here. That's already switched that way. Let's check the signals in front of it. Yeah, that needs to change. That's okay. That's okay. Alright, we look good. So, reverse it into forward. Release the brakes, apply the throttle. Lots and lots of back and forth like this when you've got to break a car down that may be 30 or 40 cars and you can only do it one at a time. It's going to take a while. This could be our entire stream, is just breaking down this one train. Depends how long it takes us to do it, I suppose. Right, let's check we're going onto the right track. Make sure we don't get clobbered by the bridge support there. So far, so good. This is the crucial one. That's set the right way. Excellent stuff. We're on the right line. And this is where we're going to start coupling up to cars that we've already placed. So we've already put a fuel tank on this line, so we'll be coupling up to that. Just sneaking our way up. And apply the brakes. There we go. Right. Wait for the prompt. And there's a reason why I am waiting for the prompt, because I did have a quick playthrough on this earlier and I wasn't waiting for the prompt and I broke the game. It just stops giving me I started anticipating the prompts and went ahead of them and then it just stopped working. So I'm making sure I'm sticking to the prompts, not jumping the gun. This loco does look really good, doesn't it? Really strong detail. Forgot to release the brakes. Again. Looks really crisp and sharp all the way around. Does look good. Right, so we'll switch the signal, or the switch the points when we come off. There we go. And again, we'll try and preempt. Just gotta make sure I'm on the right one here. It's this third one. So when we go over, I'll switch these points. There we go. It just saves us a few seconds having to mess around with it when we change direction. Andy says, was on his way back from Edinburgh on Sunday and at York was at the Union of South Africa steam train in a lay-by. Nice. Right, change direction, release the brakes. Away we go. Just to make sure I did switch the right one. Yes, good. It's been many, many years since I was at York for the National Railway Museum. I'm going to have to go back there again at some point in the future. It's been, at least 25 years, I think, since I was last there. Are they putting steam trains into TSW yet? It doesn't look like it. They're still releasing German diesels. Another one's due out very, very soon. Next week, I think, actually. I wanted to get the camera right so you could actually see the Buckeye coupling up there, and I misjudged the camera control. So we're going to be uncoupling here. There we go. Release the brakes. Change reverser direction. Wait for the prompt. There we go. So who has downloaded the aggravation map for 2019 yet? Anyone? I'm curious as to what your thoughts are about it and whether you downloaded it on 17 or not. Right, where do I need to be? This line here. There we go. Checking in fronts. Yep, they're okay. Change reverser direction. Off we go again. Alright, take it easy, Marcel. Thanks for stopping in. Because I downloaded Aggravation in 17 and I had a bit of fun with it, but I didn't play a lot of it because I was busy with other things at the time. And but I did remember it quite well, and I downloaded 19 because I thought, man, it's going to look better, and it's going to be better than it was last time out. And I think it's worse. I mean, the map itself looks fine, and it looks perfectly usable, but I stripped all of the animal placements out completely to allow people, I suppose, to create their own custom farm with really, really rubbish animal placeables that we have at the moment, because Giants haven't released any modded ones yet, apart from that little 2-horse stable. You know, I want some proper, really decent cow sheds. I want decent animal enclosures rather than just the very basic, bland stuff that we have at the moment for the in-game selection. And we haven't had any yet. But, the map itself, I mean, it hasn't, the map physically hasn't really changed that much from 19. They've just tidied up some of the field shapes slightly. Just a few little features have tied it up, and generally the presentation of the map itself is better. But that huge, great big double cow shed that was there, ripped out. The sheep farm ripped out. The pig farm ripped out, and you've just got these huge slabs of concrete, and they just look awful. It's just taken big areas that I was looking forward to actually, using, ripped them out completely, and I really hate that. I think it's such a shame. Right, let's see this Buckeye couple up. Lovely stuff. Right. It's just a silly little thing, but I really like that action there. This side, isn't it? There we go. Uncouple. Change our direction again. Off we go. What I'm also not particularly fond of was the fact that I wanted the vehicle pack, and it forced me to download the map at the same time. So you have to download them both. You can then, once you've got the vehicles installed, you can then uninstall the map, but you have to install both of them. You have no choice in the matter. If you want one, you have to install the other to start with, or else it won't let you install. Which is really, again, just a really silly, frustrating little niggle, because they're big files. So I had to uninstall a couple of, a couple of different mods to be able to put both of the packs on, to then take one of the packs back off again, to then reinstall the stuff I'd removed to make space for just one of the packs. It's an inconvenience that didn't need to be an inconvenience. And I was also a little frustrated because Giants said, or they hinted that they were releasing it as a DLC, and then they slapped it on the mod hub as big files again, just like they did last year. And everybody complained about them doing that last year, and so they did it again this year. Exactly the same. 2 big files and just slap them on the mod hub. It's like they never seem to learn, do they? They take all this criticism, legitimate criticism, not the whiny, whingy, entitled criticism that a lot of they tend to get a lot of, but legitimate gripes that people have when it comes to mods, and they just ignore it. It's like sometimes they are their own worst enemies. Stop just a little bit short. There we go. Now I can change direction. So let's rejoin our cars over here. See how many we're moving this time. Scott, hard drive size means absolutely nothing for mods on consoles. Absolutely nothing. We have a pre-allocated storage, which is irrespective of what size your hard drive is. I've got 3 terabytes of storage, 2 on an external drive and 1 as a built-in drive. So storage space is not an issue. It's whatever Giants allocates us for storage. On the mod hub. On PC it's different, obviously you're limited by how much space you have on your own hard drive, but with consoles you get, they started out at 4 gig total for 17, but I'm pretty sure it went up by the end of the run. It seems to be pretty much the same at the moment as it was with 17. A limited amount of storage. Of the stuff that's been released so far, it's already, if you can't install everything that's available already. There's more available space in your Giants allocation. And the game's only been out it's been out what? We're in April, so December, January, February, March, April. It's been out 5 months, and already we have to be very selective with what mods we choose to install, otherwise we run out of download space. Right, which line are we going to over here? This one. Okay, so check. That was already switched. These all look okay. Right, slow down. And while that's slowing down, we'll change that point. There we go. Change direction. Release the brake. Apply the throttle. And let's go shunt this to the existing 2 of these CSS box cars. I do like these CSX box cars actually, they do look pretty nice. Look at the way the light is shining on the side of these box cars here. Really is a lot of attention to detail on this CSX pack. I know in America this game was launched as CSX Heavy Haul, and it was just this pack, I think. I don't even know if the other stuff was available back then, but the attention to detail, and the way the light reflects off the side here, and obviously the headlights glinting on the side of the box car. Look at that shine. Beautiful. Those metallic surfaces really are lighting up beautifully. Alright, change direction. And uncouple. Off we go again. Get the next load. I wonder how many we've still got to do. I think we'll have a count when we get back to the train. We'll see how many cars we've still got to go. Because we've been going for about an hour now. And we still haven't broken all of these cars down yet. Mr. Water says, I'm waiting for Oakfield Farm to be available on FS19. Looks so much better. In the meantime, still playing Marwell. I'm a little concerned by the shot of the Spitfires or the World War II planes flying overhead in as a trio. I'm worried that's going to be an all-the-time thing. As long as that's a very infrequent thing, I don't mind that being on there. But those are going to be buzzing over, 3 or 4, 5, 6 times a day. It's going to be a bit unrealistic. There's a fine balance, I think, to having interactive scripts like that running on maps. There goes another Amtrak running through. The first few times you see them, they're like, wow, they're cool. But if you see them too much, then they quickly go from being, a nice little distraction to really, really frustratingly annoying. That was a huge issue I had with South Mountain Creamery, was just how frequently that those biplanes would fly over on that map. They were like every 30 seconds. And same with the birds. Every 30 seconds you had that bird flying over the field. You just see the shadow whizzing by really fast. Every 30 seconds. It was just way too frequent. Just hitting that 1% uphill gradient here. Can we get through into the block before we stop? That should be good enough. No, apparently that's not good enough. Okay. There we go. Right, change the points again. Change direction first. Might be a better help. See again, that reflection that I'm talking about there on the side of the engine. Beautiful. Really nice little bit of attention to detail there. The way the light reflects off the panels. Right, let's see how many of these cars we still have to break down. Looks like there's going to be a fair few of them. We've got to be about halfway through the train at least. So we've got one here which we're breaking down. We'll decouple that one now. There we go. Oh, no throttle. Camera mode, there we go. Then we've got a pair of these fuel tankers. An individual CSX. Another pair. Oh god, look how long this train is. I think this could take us a lot longer than I thought it was going to. So one here, then another two, so that's one trip there, then a one trip there, two together, that's another single trip, that's another single trip, that's another trip. Oh, and then we've got a few of these fuel wagons. Okay, so there's a few of these grouped together. Look, that's helpful. And one of those again. A load of wood, I think. Is that wood? that's strapped down. Not sure what that's supposed to be. And then we've got a couple more of those CSX cars, a light CSX hopper, another one of those, and then something different there on the end as well. So we've still got quite a few. Still got quite a few little trips to go before we can have this train completely broken down. Where is our train? There it is. Let's get the train started. Brakes are released. Scott says, be thankful they're not as big as real American trains. They're up to 90 cars long or more. Oh, I know. You know, you can spend an entire day breaking those trains down. But having said that, you know, those trains, they tend to run, you don't tend to break them down in just ones and twos like we're doing. They tend to be in a lot bigger chunks. And they're broken down not necessarily by matching type, but by destination on their routes. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a different process, but I understand the sentiment. Right, where's this one going? This siding here. There we go. Actually, I need to check the ones in front of that as well, make sure we're not peeling off too soon. No, we look like we're going to be good. So, direction change. Reese brakes, throttle on. Ziga's popped in the chat. How you doing, Ziga? Mr. Water says, thanks for doing the TSW and Cities streams. Really enjoying having these. Yeah, I enjoy having little chats with you guys doing this. I'm toying with the idea of maybe doing a farm sim one on a regular basis soon as well. I know there was questions about doing a Mud Runner one, and I said never say never, but probably not. One of the reasons why probably not is because I'm thinking of doing one for Farm Sim instead, and those are going to run for 2 to 3 hours. And again, that's another evening when I can't really do anything else. Because it's not just the time it takes to get everything recorded, but also the time it takes to get it all edited and put together. And some episodes, obviously, are a lot easier to do than others. You know, the City Skylines, the Railway Empire, and Genesis Alpha 1 playlists, they're all really easy to sort of edit. Just sit and record for 45 minutes and then just put an intro and outro and some overlays on it, and boom, it's done. Just got to wait for it to render. The Farm Sim ones are much more time consuming. That's the word I was looking for. They're much more time consuming. They take a lot longer to put together. There's a lot more effort that goes into actually recording those. It's not a case of just sitting there for 45 minutes or so. Each episode in terms of recording time takes up to and including 3 hours. And then the editing is a lot more of a time consuming process as well, because I've got all these separate clips that all need to be stitched together and trimmed, and all these different bits that need to be stitched in the right order, and stuff that needs to be cut out because it's just not suitable, or maybe a certain bit runs over and I have to shorten it up a bit, and then I have to render it, and then I can run it again with the overlays, and then I render it again once those overlays are put on, and then it's ready to be uploaded. So those ones, they take a lot longer to put together. That's why I only do one farm at a time now, because they just take so long to produce. Right, let's switch those points back over. There we go. Right, back to the box cars. Change reverser. So we should have 2 CSX box cars to move this time. Oh no, we've got fuel hoppers this time, not box cars. Got it mixed up. It's a problem when you look ahead at the rest of the train. You start getting mixed up with what's there and what's coming. Right, let's get these ones uncoupled. What's my favourite pack on TSW? I'm not entirely sure. I mean, in terms of DLCs, I think my favourite pack so far, in terms of just because I have more of a connection to it than the actual content of the pack itself, is the Northern Transpennine, because it has those 80s BR rolling stock. You know, that's from the era that I grew up in. But I do like the GW pack because I do love running the 166, which is kind of helpful really, considering just how many miles you have to run in that thing for the trophy. 1660 miles takes a long time. But I would say in terms of the DLCs, just because of the emotional connection of it being the era that I grew up with, would be the Northern Transpennine for that classic blue and white 80s BR rolling stock. But in terms of actual quality of content, I think the best one has been the main Spec Art barn. It's added in some real improvements, I think, in terms of the line being nice and busy, having working traffic on the roads. That's added a lot. So those two, they're my favourite packs. Well, those three, I suppose, if you count the base game GWR pack. Hey, evening, Marcus. How you doing? Good to see you. Scott says his is the Long Island Railroad. I can understand that. Andy says he loves the Class 43 as it reminds him of his childhood. Yeah, the Class 43 is one of those iconic British locos, isn't it? The old Intercity 125 service. I used to see them in the traditional blue and white livery for BR with sort of obviously the yellow nose, and then the white with red trim version. I suppose it was more creamy coloured than white, wasn't it? The refreshed Intercity 125 livery, and they had the class. Is it the class 90? Class 91, which became the replacement. It was the Intercity 225 as opposed to the 125, the spiritual successor to the class 43. I think it was a class 90. Trying to remember. Had a very boxy nose. Andy says, still have my Hornby Intercity 125 from when I was a kid. That thing's... you compare... I used to have one of those when I was a kid as well. But you compare the quality of the old HST box, railway set from 20, 30 years ago, or even older than that, to the more recent ones, and the quality is terrible in comparison to the modern stuff. But the modern stuff is so expensive. You've got to have serious deep pockets to be really into model railwaying. At the moment it's just so horrendously expensive for everything. But I remember, speaking of old model railway sets, I remember the old Royal Mail Night Mail train, where you had the coach with a little compartment that you could pop out, and you had a little mailbag on a hook. When you drove the train past, it would swipe the bag into the train. I remember little things like that. Going a bit too fast this time. You need to slow that down. There's that Amtrak rolling through in the background there. Yes, you can buy them with sounds, lights, etc. It was just old DC, almost like analog locos back in the day, and you could run multiple trains at once, but they all had motors of different strengths and powers, so they all ran at different speeds, and you would have one train inevitably catch up and crash into the back of the one in front of it. These days, you can go full DCC, direct computer control, and you can run multiple locos with individual control and keep them all locked to the same speed, so you'll never ever have any issues like that. You can put sound and light decoders in them, light strips in your coaches, so you've got working lights for your coaches, full light boxes for your locos, sound decoders so you can get engine sounds. It's so much more in depth than it used to be. It's just also horrendously expensive by comparison. And the Hornby stuff is not cheap at all. Brian asks, can anyone remember the car with the giraffe in it that ducked through when it went through a tunnel? No, I don't remember that one. I have no recollection of a livestock train of any kind. But I fell out of the hobby for many years, so I mean it's possible. I don't remember it. Right, let's switch the points and check down the line. There we go. Mr. Water says snow runs look really good in TSW. They look even better when the sky is clear, because you still get lots of really nice lighting effects rather than lots of horrible, poor visibility. But yeah, snow does look good. So just to go a little bit off topic for a moment, name changes are now a thing on PlayStation Network, and I have seen a few people on my friends list change their usernames. Has anyone here done that yet, just out of interest? Has anyone changed their username? And if so, why did you do it? What was your reason? Scott says, going to do it soon because the name I have right now is too long. Just so you know, Scott, just so you're aware, obviously there are the well-documented issues that, are potentially going to have side effects. If you do go ahead and do that, you should see all those on before you go ahead and do it. There's a real possibility that you might not be able to actually choose the name that you want, because changing your name doesn't remove the old name from the network. So there's no guarantee you'll actually be able to change it to what you want to change it to. Someone may already have claimed it. And once it's been chosen, it's chosen forever, in terms of, no one else can ever claim it. It's not like it gets deleted. It stays on your account history permanently. So, you can choose to roll back as well. So, if you do have issues, you can roll back to a previous selection that you've made. So you could make 10 name changes. Obviously, the first one's free, but after that you have to pay for them. If you're on PlayStation Plus, if you're a PS Plus subscriber, then it's $4.99. If you're not, it's $9.99 per change from number 2 onwards. But you can make as many changes as you want. and every single one of those changes stays permanently tied to your account in perpetuity. So you can choose to roll back, but of course it does mean that some people out there have been going ahead and just claiming all these different names in a bid to just own them, I suppose, or just because they want to be dicks. I don't know. But yeah, it's entirely possible that what you want you might not be able to get. And with all the issues that there are for doing that, if you're ever planning on going back and playing older games for PS4, it might not be too much of an issue. For PS3, or it definitely cause issues. There's a guy I subscribe to called Ryan Benecki, who does Let's Talk PlayStation. It's a weekly sort of news roundup of stuff for PlayStation, and he does little documentaries every now and again as well, and he did a name change so we could see what would happen going back and playing older stuff, and it corrupted his PS3 hard drive, changing his username. We went back and tried to play some old PlayStation 3 stuff with the new profile, and it completely corrupted his hard drive. So there are risks to running a new profile. I toyed with the idea, but I decided to just start a new profile, and that's what I did towards the end of last year. Just started a brand new profile, which is what I use now, and I was a bit bummed because it meant I had to give up on the sort of some of the library of games that I built up on PlayStation Plus over the last few years, so I could transfer PlayStation Plus onto the new profile. But I figured, what the hell, why not? And of course, you can't transfer your platinum trophies across either. So I went from having about 20 platinums down to zero trophies at all, let alone platinums. And now I'm back up to 10 platinums, I think. So I've been working hard to try and rebuild my trophy library. But at least I know that everything that's going to be on this profile will be safe, and there's no risk of anything ever going wrong. With a name changed profile. And I had my old one since PlayStation 3, so I had my old profile for, let's see, 10 years? So it's a little bit of a wrench giving that up, but obviously I've still got it, but I don't use it very often anymore. Pecky's in the chat. How you doing, Pecky? And Dusty as well. Good to see you. And welcome, Roadkill. Right, once again, check our sidings. There we go. Change the reverser. And away we go. No crashes tonight, Martin, no. I've just been shunting. Do I have any interesting cars? What, in real life, or in games? Or? I used to be obsessed with cars when I was a kid. I used to be able to, spot them and identify them really, really quickly and easily. And I kind of grew out of it a little bit. But, I still enjoy cars, but I don't have that kind of childhood obsession that I did when I was younger. One of the side effects of being autistic is that I do tend to get very focused on certain things from time to time. I wouldn't necessarily say I become obsessive, but when I take an interest in something, I take a very intense interest in something, and it can burn very strongly for a period of time, and then it can just fade out and die off. Some things will stay with me permanently, some things will just fade and die off. But no, there was a time when I was almost obsessed with cars when I was a kid, and then I just, one of the other flip sides of being autistic is that I'm a little bit resistant to change. So as cars started to change and started to become, back in the day, cars had their own sort of distinct look and shape, and these days a lot of car shapes, although obviously the front ends are unique to a degree to their manufacturer, a lot of the shapes of the cars in general when I was a kid were unique to that particular car. You just don't see that anymore now. A lot of cars look very, very similar, and it's only just a small few details that are different. It was when that started to happen in the late 80s, early 90s that I kind of just started losing interest a little bit. Right. Change the points again. Change the reverser, put a bit of throttle on. Right, changed my reverser direction there. We've got to be coming close to that group of like 5 fuel tanks. It's as far forward as I can go, I can't see. I think we've got 1 car, maybe 2 in the way before we get that string of 5 fuel tanks. So we're getting towards the end of the train, finally. I can't believe our entire 2-hour stream is going to be taken up doing this one mission. That's insane. I had no idea it was going to take this long to do this. There we go, so we've got this CSX box car here, then these 2, and then we've got the fuel tanks, and then we've only got a couple of cars left after the fuel tanks, so we're getting towards the last few runs. I would not have to... I know there is, I think, another one for putting a train together. We might do that next week, I don't know. I might have had enough of... Might have had enough of doing this shunting, but it's possible that we might put a train together next week. I don't know. Oscar, how you doing, Oscar? I haven't seen you for a while. What's my opinion on the Class 43 going out of service? I didn't know it was, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, that train is 40 years old. So I'm not surprised, to be honest. Be interesting to see what it gets replaced with. Right, where do we need to couple these ones up? All the way down. All the way down here. Ooh. Okay, so we want that to change. That's good. Make sure these are all okay in front of us. Yep, okay. We should be good here. Right, fingers crossed we will end up on the right track. Should turn here, I think. Yeah, there we go. We're on the right line. Is it Marwell Manor tomorrow? Yes. I recorded the episode earlier today. I still need to stitch it all together and get it prepped, but yeah, that'll get uploaded tonight and that'll go live tomorrow. How are the collectibles coming along on this map? Haven't started them. Not yet. I've done very little running on this American expansion on this profile. I ran it obviously on the old profile when the game first came out, but on this one I've barely touched it. I've been busy, working my way through the UK stuff. I'm almost done completely with the Great Western stuff. I've just got to finish running the Class 66 for 660 miles. I think I've done about 80 to 100 or so miles, maybe a bit more than that. So I've still got about 500 miles or so to run, I think, with the Class 66. And then I've locked off all the trophies for the UK part. I've done the West Somerset's collectibles for that trophy. Haven't even completed all the services on the American pack on this profile yet. So I still need to get that caught up. But as I say, I've been trying to work my way through each pack to try and get them done. So it'll come. I'll get them. But it might take a little while. Right, let's get the cars. There we go. Change direction. Have I seen Sully? I have no idea what you mean by that. Oscar says working his way through the Class 166 at the moment, done just over 400 miles. So as it stands, when I had when I'd done 660 odd miles or so, and I had about 1,000 miles to go, that was 14 hours and 28 runs. You've still got another 200 miles on top of that, so you're looking at 30 hours minimum to get that 1,660 miles, I think. So I hope you've got some patience and lots of free time because you're going to need it. Oh, no. I do want neutral. There, reverse. There we go. Oh, the film Sully? No. No, I haven't. I've seen Captain Phillips. It's a good movie. I enjoyed that. But, you know, that movie is more famous for the meme that came out of it than anything else. Look at me. I'm the captain now. That meme just went everywhere. You still see it popping up, you know, today. Oh, did I choose which line I wanted to be on? No, I didn't. Okay, slam on the brakes. Forgot to change the signals. Welcome, Jenny Man. Or Jenny Jan Man. Right, so we need to change these points. Those ones are correct. Change direction. There we go. Now we're going onto the right track. I'm a bit carried away and forgot to switch the lines. What is the next game I'm bringing to the channel? Next game I'm bringing to the channel is Days Gone, because it comes out this week. Comes out on Friday. I've already got it pre-ordered. I should be able to preload that and download it and get it pre-installed tomorrow, ready for Friday. And I'll sit and record the first half a dozen episodes, and I'll stick them up on the channel. And if people want to keep watching it, I'll keep sticking it on the channel. If they don't, I'll just play it in my own time. But that'll be the next game. And then next week we'll be doing some more Mud Runner with the new little free DLC that's coming out. And then after that, I don't know. We'll have to see. Still waiting on a release date for... oh, we're done. That was it. That was the end of the car. I didn't realise they were the last two. I thought we had the rest of the train to break down as well. I guess those 5 fuel cars were the end point. Okay, so there we go. That took us 1 hour and 54 minutes to break down that train. Whew. That's a long time. That's our entire run session for tonight. It's been taken up by just that one little mission. Let's change the reverser. There we go. Let's see if we can get a nice good screenshot that I can crop. We'll take some photos from different angles. Try and find the one that looks the best. Try and get a really big close one like that. Let's come back a little bit. There we go. A few photos I can look through to try and use a thumbnail afterwards. But yeah, there we are. Absolutely, finally finished. So, in 20 minutes, I can then put a train back together again. I hope it's not the same train. Take all these wagons that I've just broken down and then stick them all back together again. But we'll do that another day. I don't know if I'll do more shunting next week. I might do something a bit different. But we will come back and we will put a train together at some point in the future. So probably not next week, but sometime in the future we'll do that. We'll do some more New York shunting. We might do some passenger services next week instead. And I'm not sure what pack we'll do that on yet. Maybe the Amtrak. Maybe we might run the Long Island Railroad, because it's been a while since I've run that. So we might run the LIRR next week instead. I'll have a think about that. But we've come to the end of another TSW Tuesday, so stay tuned throughout the week for more videos for Railway Empire, City Skylines, Genesis Alpha 1 and Farm Sim. Tomorrow's Railway Empire is actually the last one in the current run. That's the series finale. And of course we've got our City Skylines live stream on Sundays, the City Sundays series, where we're building a city live on the channel. So be sure to tune in at 6 PM on Sunday for that. And as I say, Days Gone coming this weekend to the channel. I'll try and get some stuff up on Friday, and then some more stuff will go up on Saturday. So there'll be 2 or 3 episodes released at a time. And then I'll leave those up for a few days and see how they go, and I'll keep recording some stuff, and if no one wants to see it, I'll just scrap them. But you guys will determine whether that stays on the channel or not. So if you are interested in and you want to see it, make sure you watch it early on, and share those around with other people as well, see if anyone else wants to see them. And then of course, as I say, Mud Runner new DLC comes out next week. We'll be definitely sticking that on the channel. So plenty of stuff to come. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I'm Jim Bob, and I will see you all again very soon.